Students, you can hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's start. Today we will be talking about Unit 5, Environmental Pollution. Okay, this unit is quite easy. You will be getting 1 mark, 2 marks and 5 marks question. This topic is such, you have heard a lot about it before, isn't it? You have been listening to this word pollution or environmental pollution for quite some time, isn't it? You have heard of this many times before. So we'll get into the discussion, right? Okay. Should I wait for 5 more minutes for all of you to join, or should I proceed? Someone please reply. I cannot hear you.
Ma'am, still many are joining,
Should I
ma'am.
proceed or should I wait? Okay, so let me start. So first, you need to know the definition of pollution. Okay, the definition of pollution can be asked for 1 mark. Sometimes it can also be asked for 2 marks. Okay, so pollution is an undesirable change in physical, chemical, and biological characteristics of our land, air, or water caused by excessive accumulation of pollutants, that is, substances which cause pollution. Now, see, this topic, pollution, is such a huge topic, such a huge field of work that we can, we can write multiple theses on this. Now, the word pollution, the very word pollution, ignites a feeling in us which defines something that is not desired. Pollution or pollutants are things that are absolutely undesirable and that has detrimental effects on us. See, if something has detrimental effects on the environment, that detrimental effect is indirectly coming to us also, isn't it? We also get affected. Suppose the drinking water pond from where villagers take water, or the river, forget about pond, if the river gets polluted, who will be affected at the end? We, because we drink that water, we use that water for household chores, and aquatic animals are there. We consume the fish from the river, and the pollutants that accumulate in their body, that gets biomagnified in our system, and we ultimately get affected. So pollution is anything that causes or that has some detrimental effect or some adverse effect or some bad effect on us and our surrounding. And the substances which cause this pollution is known as pollutants. You know many names of pollutants, right? Automobile exhausts, then garbage dumps, plastics, many names you know. So from here, from this part, you get questions, either 1 mark question or a 2 mark question. Correct? So this part you have understood, I suppose. Next, we come to kinds of pollution. What are the various kinds of pollution? The pollution is of 4 major types. How many? 4 major types. Okay, let me take a different color. 4 major types of pollutants are here. Right? What are they? Air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, and noise pollution. There are multiple other pollutions also, but for your environmental class, you only need to know these 4 in little more details. That's it. It's not that you will have to know huge things here. Nothing like that. You will only have to know little more about these so that you can answer 1 mark, 2 marks, and 5 mark questions. That's all. Okay. In terms of origin, it may be natural or anthropogenic. What is natural? Natural is that which comes from nature. That is natural pollutant. Suppose there is a volcanic eruption. Now the toxic gases that come out, that pollutes the air, that pollutes the soil, that pollutes nearby water bodies, but we can't help it. That's natural pollutant. Correct? But on contrary, if we say more than natural pollutants, I believe man-made pollutions are more. Man-made pollutions are known as anthropogenic pollutants. Man-made pollutants are known as anthropogenic pollutants. Okay. Right. Next, we'll go to air pollution. We'll start off with air pollution. Correct? Okay. So what is air pollution? Degradation of air quality and natural atmospheric condition constitute air pollution. The air pollutant may be a gas or particulate matter. Fine. Now see, if you have traveled to your college from near that region, what's that called? Martha's Church. From that side, those who of you come from that side, from St. Martha's Church, you will see one display board over there, which states the quality of air, the level of pollutants and the air quality. They display it over there. What is the purpose of displaying the air quality? You might ask, ma'am, what will we know from there, or what will we do knowing that? The purpose of displaying sorry, the purpose of displaying air quality is to make you aware of the condition of air, the air that you are breathing in. It should be pure. There should be no pollutants, but that actually never happens. Do you think that actually happens? We breathe in air which is full of pollutants, right? The air that we are breathing in is absolutely full of pollutants. That never happens, that we are breathing in air and it's free of any form of pollutants. So air pollution, this one also can come for a 2-mark question, that define air pollution. In that case, you will define air pollution for one line like this, 1 or 2 lines you will write, and after that you will have to write at least 1 line about air pollutants and their effect, if it is a 2-mark question. If it is a 5-mark question, then matter is here for you, you will write this. Now let's see air pollutants and their effects. Right, you can see these pictures. These pictures will tell you a lot about what actually happens to our environment, the exhaust, the pollutants that come out through these industrial chimneys and all. You will all understand what actually happens. Right, now see air pollutants and their effect. First is particulate matter. What is that? It comprises of small suspended particles such as soot, dust, pesticides, all these stuff, and biological agents such as spore, pollen, and dust mites. Right? It causes respiratory ailments such as asthma, chronic bronchitis, nasal problems, lung diseases, and plenty. Okay, now see, what are these spore and pollens? You must have heard that many people say that I suffer from a respiratory problem, coughing problem during springtime. Have you ever wondered why do they say? Or else you must have heard in many hospitals they say patients should not be gifted with flowers. Bouquet of flowers are not allowed in hospital, in the ward. Why do they say like that? That's because many a times it's seen that people are allergic to pollens. The pollens are, they remain suspended in the air, and when you breathe that in, it causes allergic reactions in your body. So that is the reason why many a times you will see that flowers are not allowed in hospital premises. Right? And during springtime, new leaves come out, new flowers come. That time also, while the flowers are blooming, a lot of pollen discharge occur in the air and people get sick. Those who are allergic to these pollens, they get sick. Right? These are natural, you can't help it. Other than that, see, spores from fungal spores and all, these are all natural. Other than that, these soot, dust, pesticide, all these are anthropogenic particulate matters. Can you see this picture? This one here. Whole lot of gases are being given out here. This violet line, see? What is it? These are exhausts, huh? These are exhausts that are given out. Nowadays, what happens at this point, see this black ring, at this point, electrodes are placed here. At these points, electrodes are placed. These electrodes often attract the metallic pollutants, the metal-like pollutants from the exhaust, and the exhaust that comes out of these chimney, they are free of metallic pollutants. So this is one way of keeping the air clean, right? Next is carbon monoxide. It is a product of incomplete combustion of fossil fuels in automobiles. These things you know, right? It is highly poisonous to most animals. When inhaled, carbon monoxide reduces the oxygen carrying capacity of blood. You must be knowing hemoglobin in our blood carries oxygen, but hemoglobin has got a tendency to absorb carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide as well. So when you inhale these things, these polluting gases, that time what happens? The hemoglobin in our body is not capable of carrying oxygen. They carry lesser amount of oxygen, which causes breathing difficulty, right? Next, air pollutants and their effects. Let me tell you something. These chemical formulas you don't need to learn. Don't think that these structures are being shown to you so that you learn more. No, you don't need to learn this. Just know the names of these. These chemistry-based diagrams are not for you to learn. It's just for you to see. Okay. Next, coming to hydrocarbons. What are they? Hydrocarbons such as methane are evolved from soil microbes. Okay, they are called methanogens. These are a special class of bacteria, that is methanogen. You have studied about these methanogens in your first semester bacteriology syllabus, right? So these are evolved from soil microbes in flooded rice fields and swamps. They are also generated during the burning of coal and petroleum products. So these are also highly toxic when inhaled by human beings. Next, coming to sulfur dioxide. It is released from oil refineries and ore smelters which use the sulfur containing fuels. Okay, it causes harmful effects on plants and animals. It causes chlorosis, that is loss of chlorophyll, and necrosis, that is localized death of tissue. Right, in human, it causes health problems such as asthma, bronchitis, and emphysema. Okay. Altogether, see, the explanation for all these pollutants is actually the same. Once you inhale these, once you start inhaling these things knowingly, unknowingly, your respiratory tract, your entire respiratory system, starting from nose, trachea, bronchus, lung, alveoli, everything gets affected. And it doesn't sit quietly after getting affected. It causes serious ailments in your body. Next is nitrogen oxides. It causes reddish brown haze, that is brown air in traffic congested city air, which contributes to heart and lung problems. This you might have noticed in a city like Bangalore, where there is a lot of traffic issues, traffic problem. This part I think you must have noticed. So next time when this happens, please make sure you are not inhaling that air, or you cover your nose and mouth with your handkerchief. And the best way is you wear your mask. That will give you protection from two things. That will keep you protected from COVID-19 coronavirus, and it will also keep you protected from these pollutants. Okay. Next, we are coming to the secondary effects of air pollution. Photochemical smog. See, one more thing, let me tell you. Each of these terms, you learn them for 1 mark questions. Hydrocarbons, sulfur dioxide. Maybe it can be asked, describe the role of sulfur dioxide in causing air pollution. So you can write this part. Next, nitrogen dioxide. So you just read these things and keep them at your fingertips. You should know what's happening and what and how much you need to know. Next is photochemical smog. What is that? Smog is a mixture of smoke and fog. From this word, these two words, the word smog has come. S-M-O-G, the first two letters from here and the last two letters from here. Smog. Okay. It is formed in the atmosphere under the influence of sunlight by the photochemical reactions of hydrocarbons, oxides of nitrogen, and oxygen. And this results in peroxyacetyl nitrate or PAN. Okay, this is a very favorite question. You can get define PAN. So, what will you say? What is PAN? PAN is peroxyacetyl nitrate. Okay, PAN is peroxyacetyl nitrate. And what damages does it do? Fan damages the chlorophyll and thus reduces photosynthesis and growth. Okay. It also causes acute irritation of eyes and throat, right? Visibility of the surrounding is reduced due to smog. Until and unless there is clarity, we cannot see objects that are in front of us. But smog disturbs our visibility. Okay. If it is smoggy, we cannot see clearly. Next, coming to acid rain. Okay, gases such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxides are oxidized to form sulfuric acid, nitric acid, along with water and precipitate as acid rain. It damages building materials, plants, and animals. That is the reason why nowadays it is said that children, or not only children, no human being should go out in the rain and dance or play. Why? First thing, all of us say that you will fall sick. Don't go. That is one point. Of course, the second reason is this one. Exposure to acid rain is very, very bad. It has got a lot of ill effects on your body and health. Next. Next we'll come to control. This part you can get a 5-mark question. Describe the controlling measures of air pollution. Like this, a 5-mark question can be set. Okay. The particulates. So we'll one by one will know the control of air pollution. Clear? First point is what? The particulates emitted by industries should be controlled by devices such as scrubbers, filters, precipitators, and one more I'll add to it, electrodes. As I was telling you just now, electrodes are placed at the mouth of the chimneys. You know what will happen? The air that comes out gets filtered. Filtered air comes out. The air is no longer polluted. Okay. So the precipitators or filters or scrubbers or electrodes are extremely essential to clean, to make sure that the air that is coming out is clean. Okay. Next, use of unleaded or low sulfur fuel is to be encouraged. If the fuel itself is loaded with a lot of lead, PB, plumbers, or sulfur, then automatically it will create a lot of pollutants in the environment, right? So low sulfur content and lead content in the fuel is always encouraged. Next, shifting to non-conventional sources of energy, that is solar energy, hydel energy, tidal energy. All these are more encouraged because they are those substances do not cause pollution. All right. Next, smoking in public places should be prohibited. Why? Because the cigarette smoke contains carcinogens such as benzopyrene, which is very, very, very bad for your health. And you must be knowing a direct smoker, that is an active smoker, as well as a passive smoker, both get affected. Both get affected. That is why it is always advised to quit smoking. Now next, what other measures can be taken? Planting of trees along the roadsides and along the industrial areas. Planting of trees is the best way to get rid of pollution. Why? Because the trees often are known to absorb pollutants. That is the reason That is another field of study which is known as phytoremediation. Plants really play a very important role in remediating the environment. Okay. Next, we have water pollution. Water pollution is defined as the adding of unwanted substances or the change of physical and chemical characteristics of water in any way which makes it unfit for human consumption. Not only consumption, for use, for general use. Suppose, see, people staying in, as far though I'm new to Karnataka, but I've heard that people staying in areas of or in the core region of Chitradurga, though those people complain of having hard water. Those water are always not fit for drinking or other consumption purposes like bathing and all. So they need to install machines that makes the water fit for use. Understood? Now, if there is a problem with the water, if pollutants are added to water, they will certainly make it unfit for consumption. That unfit water, which is not at all fit for consumption, is to be kept away. Right? It is caused by waste products of industries or industrial effluents, domestic sewage, soil spillage, agricultural and industrial runoff, etc. We play a very important role in polluting water. Right? Though we say that Ganga Maya or Ganges is our holy river, this, that, what not we say. We do Ganga Aarti, this, my goodness, what not we do. But at times, when time comes, we pollute Ganga like anything. We dump everything over there. You will not believe there. I don't know whether you have come across this or not. Hindus burn their deads, right? This is a ritual that Hindus do. When somebody dies, they burn the body, right? Now, in UP, a survey was done where half-burnt bodies, they were all disposed in the river, in the Ganga. Those bodies went on floating and floating and floating, and when they came to the banks, they were absolutely, it is a horrid sight. I have no words actually to describe that. That had become absolutely filled with microbes. Each part of the body is filled with microbes, smelling, and entire body is rotten. And that very water we consume to be so pure. So you can understand what is our condition. Next, we have the sources and effects of water pollution. These sources can come for a long answer type question. Okay. Industrial waste, the industrial effluents containing heavy metals and chemicals such as arsenic, cadmium, copper, chromium, mercury, zinc, nickel, etc. are directly released into the water bodies such as lakes, ponds, and rivers without proper treatment. Okay. Now, when industrial effluents are given out in the water bodies, first of all, they should not be given out in water bodies. Second, if they are helpless, even if it is being given out, okay, it should be processed. Like the air that is being given out is processed with chimneys and all, with electrodes and precipitators, scrubbers. These effluents should also be processed. Raw, full of pollutant, these type of things should not come out into the water bodies. These wastes contaminate the water bodies and make them unsuitable for human consumption. Obviously, who will consume this water? Next is hot water is another noted pollutant from industries and not only industries and households also. See, if the water is hot, what will it do? It will kill the water or aquatic organisms. Have you ever seen fish swimming in hot water? Never. Now, hot water that we consume is of a permissible temperature range. We don't consume burning hot water, or we don't bathe with hot water like that. We use warm water. This is the thing that we use. Now, if the hot water is too hot, that will kill the floral as well as faunal diversity in the water bodies. So that is also another pollutants. Now see these small boxes which are here, these boxes, please go through them. I'm not discussing these boxes here, otherwise I'll not be able to finish the class. These boxes are for your additional knowledge. More to know, little more to know. Please go through these boxes. Next, see sources and effects of water pollution. See, let me tell you, I'll move little faster. Why, you know, we have already missed a lot of EVS classes. Every festival is on Tuesdays. Even day after tomorrow, you see, you have another holiday. So that is the reason why I thought of having one EVS class with you people, so that at least we can stay in touch with the syllabus and get it finished, get it completed fast, right? And I hope you people are, you all are you all are doing your project work. You have your syllabus with you. Every unit needs, calls for a project and an assignment. One is your group work, the other is your individual work. Please do that and keep it ready. Okay. Well, so sources and effects of water pollution. Many industries use water as coolant. What is a coolant? That which cools, or that which has cooling effect. That's a coolant. Okay. Many industries use water as a coolant for machinery and release of hot wastewater into water bodies, causing thermal pollution, which affect both the plant and animal life. Clear? The surface runoff, next is surface runoff. The surface runoff from agricultural land is contaminated with pesticides. See, pesticides are toxic chemicals. Okay, that is the reason why they are able to kill the pests. Now, if runoffs come from agricultural land, it will definitely contain remains of pesticides. That is terribly contaminating, and it also contains residues of inorganic fertilizers. That is the reason why nowadays it is said that use organic fertilizers, don't use chemical fertilizers, all these stuff. The runoff from urban and industrial areas are rich in organic and inorganic compounds. Okay, and these pollutants contaminate both surface as well as groundwater. That is the water that is present below the surface. Both these water are highly affected by these pollutants. All right. Sorry. Let me just have a sip of water. Next, we come to sources and effects of water pollution, right? From where is the pollutant coming? Look at the picture, my God. Look at this bird. It's having so much of difficulty in sustaining life in this dirty water. This is a continuation of source and effects of water pollution. Okay. Next point, oil spills. When you spill water, when you pour water, oil on water, when you spill oil on water, you must have seen that an emulsion is produced. Oil never dissolves in water, right? Both of them, they do never dissolve in each other as a medium. So when there is oil spill on the water body, what will happen? This will prevent plants to grow there, and it will reduce the dissolved oxygen level of the water body, thereafter causing death of floral as well as faunal life in water. So an oil spill is an accidental discharge of petroleum products in oceans and estuaries from capsized oil tankers, offshore drilling and exploration operations, right? It can cause drastic damage to the marine and coastal biodiversity, right? Next is domestic sewage. We are responsible for this. It is rich in organic matter and detergents. Washing clothes, utensils, everything. Where is that water going? That soapy water? We have no answer. Decomposition of organic matter increases the nutrient content of water bodies, right? Availability of excess nutrients results in algal bloom, correct? Availability of excess nutrients results in algal bloom on the surface of water, resulting in the deficiency of oxygen content. Okay, BOD is biological oxygen demand. That has to be met every time. Otherwise, sustenance of life is impossible. Okay. This in turn leads to the death of aquatic organisms. This process is known as eutrophication. Dissolved oxygen level decreases, which is known as eutrophication. Next is, how do we control? See, for all pollutants, you will see these basic things. What is, suppose we are talking about air pollution, water pollution, like that, sound pollution, what is it? That is one part. What are the causes? That is one part. And what are the control measures? That is the last part. Okay. Next is, see, quickly we'll go through these. Sewage treatment. Sewage treatment plants should be installed to treat sewage before releasing into water bodies. The sewage that is being released into the water body should be treated in the plants. We cannot do it manually, right? Excessive use of pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers should be avoided. Because as we were just now talking about, the runoffs from the agricultural land will cause problems, right? Biological control of insects, insect pests, and organic farming is to be followed in order to reduce the dependence on pesticide and inorganic fertilizers. This should be strictly followed. And there should be enforcement of laws to do these. People are afraid of laws because it will bring them punishments. If you tell something lightly, politely, nobody feels like listening to it. But if it is said that if you don't do it, you will be in the jail, you will be behind the bars, that time people will give it a second thought. So by legislation and strict enforcement, by creating social awareness among people about the water pollution and the need for pure water. Right, next we come to soil pollution. Oh my God, just have a look at this picture to the right. What is this? Soil pollution again is defined as the alteration of natural soil properties, its fertility, everything. Okay, removal. Okay, let's see. Soil pollution is the unfavorable alteration of soil by the addition or removal of substances which decrease the soil fertility, that is soil productivity and groundwater quality, right? It usually results from different human activities like dumping of waste, use of agrochemicals, mining operations, and urbanization. So basically, soil pollution is all anthropogenic. It's generally or less natural. Next, causes: the industrial solid waste and sludge contain toxic organic and inorganic compounds as well as heavy metals. Okay. The radioactive waste from nuclear power plants and nuclear explosions also contaminate the soil. We know these points, correct? Fly ash contains fine particulates which are released from thermal power plants. It settle on the ground and cause pollution. These fly ash is something which is a byproduct of coal combustion. Okay. Now, these fly ash, I myself, when I was a UGC scholar, that time I used to work on coal fly ash. So we used to do regular metal analysis from these fly ashes. You will be stunned to know it contains plenty of heavy metals: copper, zinc, lead, arsenic, cadmium, plenty of heavy metals that often remain suspended in the air, in the soil, everywhere, in this water. Okay. Next, the domestic waste is rich in organic matter and undergo decomposition. Fine. The hospital waste contains a variety of pathogens that can seriously affect human health. Yes, this should be taken up very seriously. Hospital wastes should not be dumped so casually. It should be treated and made microbes free. Okay. Next, cause and effect. See, agricultural chemicals such as pesticides, insecticides, and organic fertilizers may pollute drinking water and can change the chemical properties of soil, adversely affecting the soil organisms. Okay. See, this part is just for your knowledge. That is segregation of fertilizers into two types, chemicals and natural. You don't need to learn this. You don't have to learn so much. Just know what is it. That's all. Next, coming to control of soil pollution. Management of soil wastes include collection and categorization of wastes. Recovery of resources like scrap metals, plastics, etc. for recycling and reuse, and safe disposal with a minimum environmental hazard is to be followed. It's a must, and this thing has to be in our head and heart. Recycle, reuse, and reduce. Other notable methods of waste disposal include incineration. Incineration is burning in the presence of oxygen in a closed chamber like that. And pyrolysis. Pyrolysis is burning in the absence of oxygen. Next, afforestation and reforestation should be undertaken on a large scale to prevent soil erosion and loss of soil nutrients. You all know, if you plant a tree, the roots of that tree will bind the soil particles together, and this will prevent loss of the topsoil. That is, it will prevent soil pollution, right? Next we go to radioactive pollution. The emission of protons, electrons, and electromagnetic radiations released by the disintegration of radioactive substances such as radium, thorium, uranium, etc. cause water, air, and land pollution. Land means soil pollution. So these radioactive pollutants are extremely detrimental. It causes death. So this should also be kept in mind. The ionizing radiations can cause mutations. Strontium-90 accumulates in bones, causing bone cancer. Iodine-131 can damage bone marrow, spleen, lymph nodes, and can cause leukemia, that is blood cancer. Okay. So what are the preventive measures for this? Care should be taken to prevent the leakage of radioactive substances from nuclear reactors. Radioactive waste should be disposed of safely. Strict measures should be followed in the construction and maintenance of nuclear power plants to prevent nuclear accidents. Okay, and control or prevention of nuclear tests. See, nuclear tests is a must for research to go on, true. But it should not be so frequent. One fine morning you get up and you feel like, chalo, let's go and test some our nuclear bombs and all. Is it a joke? So those tests should not be very frequent. Next is noise pollution. Oh my goodness. Noise may be defined as unwanted and unpleasant sound that may have adverse effect on animals and humans. Extreme heavy or extreme loud noise is very irritating. The unit of sound is measured in decibels. Noise level above 120 decibel is considered to be very, very harmful for human ears. The eardrum can't take so much. Fine. Normal speech is only 60 decibel. Just a double of that. Can you imagine this? Next, what are the sources? See the pictures. More than the writings, you will be attracted towards pictures. So please look at these. The different sources associated with noise pollution are industrial machinery, road, rail and air transport, loudspeakers, construction equipments, household appliances, crackers, etc. Right? Noise seriously affects heartbeat, breathing, and can cause constriction of blood vessels. It can cause headache, sleeplessness, irritability, and may seriously affect the productive performance of human beings. Loud noises above 120 or 130 decibel can cause damage to the eardrum, as I was just now telling. Hair cells of cochlea, that is the hearing organ, the balance organ in your ear, and thereby resulting in temporary or permanent loss of hearing. Impaired audibility is caused by noise pollution. It can also seriously affect the concentration of students while learning because it's a source of constant disturbance. Next, what do we have? Control measures. The industries should be established away from residential areas. Trees should be planted along roadside or highways that absorbs noise, that reduces noise. Why does it reduce? Because it is absorbing the sound waves. The industrial machinery and motor vehicles should be properly maintained in order to minimize the noise. The use of loudspeakers and bursting of crackers should be restricted. Right? Effort must be made to create awareness among people about the harmful effects of noise and need to control it. India produces 55 million tons of municipal solid waste annually at present. Okay. Per capita generation of waste varies from 200 grams to 600 grams per capita per day. We should know a little about the waste generation as well. Average generation rate at 0.4 kg per capita per day is noted in townships or towns. And collection efficiency ranges between 50 to 90% of solid waste that are like generated. So 50 to 90% of solid waste that are generated, they get collected. This is the collection efficiency. Okay. Now the question arises, what is solid waste? Solid or semi-solid material, including gases and liquids in containers, which are non-soluble in nature, are solid waste. And waste is, of course, you know, waste is any material that is thrown away, that is discarded, disposed of. Solid waste includes agricultural refuse, demolition waste, industrial waste, mining residues, municipal garbage, sewage sludge, etc. Okay. Biodegradable, which are biodegradable and which are non-biodegradable. You know, papers are biodegradable, plastics are non-biodegradable. These are your day-to-day life examples, right? So biodegradable ones can be degraded, that is paper, wood, fruits, and others. And non-biodegradable ones, you know, plastic bottles, old machine, containers, and other items. Clear? Next, we go to composition of household waste. This is a lovely picture, no? See, organic waste is compostable, and organic, apart from that, we have metal, plastic, glass, paper, and other wastes also. This is these are the subdivision of wastes that are found in domestic waste bin. Now coming to types of solid waste. Solid waste can be classified into different types depending upon their source. That means from where is it coming? Household waste or municipal waste, that is, it includes food, paper, cardboard, plastic, textiles, leather, glass, metal, ashes, electronic waste, etc. Okay. Industrial waste is it includes toxic chemicals, oil debris from construction sites, packaging waste, ashes, etc. Fine. Next, biomedical waste or hospital waste. Medicine bottles, syringes, expired medicines, medical instruments such as scissors, blades, scalpel, or needles, all these. Next, again, continuation, types of solid waste. Agricultural waste, what are they? Includes pesticides, crops, water coming from fields also consists of small amount of toxic chemicals. Then nuclear waste, it includes radioactive, this is very, very harmful. It includes radioactive substances coming from reactors, fuel, uranium, thorium, plutonium, all these are. It's highly dangerous and requires proper monitoring and disposal. Monitoring is to be done before disposing them off. Fine. Next is hazardous waste. It includes toxic chemical, acids, corrosive, ignitable and reactive materials, gases, all these things. Fine. See, these are the composition of solid waste. You can see it later. I'll not waste time here. Now, we should have an estimation of how big the problem is, the magnitude of problem. Per capita waste generation is increasing by 1.3% per annum. That means every year, per capita waste generation is increasing by 1.3%. Fine. With urban population increasing between 3 to 3.5 per annum. Correct? Yearly increase in waste generation is around 5% annually. India produces 42 million tons of municipal solid waste annually at present. Note this figure, 42 million for India. Per capita generation of waste varies from 200 grams to 600 grams per capita per day. Okay. Collection efficiency ranges between, as we were just discussing, 50 to 90% of the solid waste generated. All right. Next, see municipal solid waste in India. What is the scenario here? 30 to 55% compostable or biodegradable matter that can be converted into manure, so it doesn't go wasted. 40% to 45% inert material, okay, that go to the landfill. 5% to 10% recyclable materials, it is recycled. These percentages vary from city to city depending on food habits. This picture, you see it later. I'm moving on to the next slide. See, hospital waste again can be classified into infectious and non-infectious. These are a small classification. These things you just know for your knowledge, right? These are also for your knowledge, not for exam purposes, but I would suggest you, this picture is little blurred. Study from here. Just know it. That is important. Just know it. These parts, right? Next, what do we have? E-waste. That is very important. This can come for a question in your exam. This can come for a 1-mark question or 2-mark question. Or it can also come for a 5-mark question. Write a short note on e-waste. What is e-waste? E-waste comprises of waste electronics, goods which are not fit for their originally intended use. Such electronic goods may be television, telephones, radios, computers, printers, fax machines, DVDs and CDs, etc. Fine. Toxic chemicals in e-waste. What are the toxic chemicals there? At least some you will have to know. Lead, cadmium, chromium and their effect. Lead affects the central nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, vital organs in our body. Okay. Cadmium also, see, they cause damage to kidneys, both lead, cadmium, all these. So these things you will have to remember. Fine. Now, effective management of e-waste. How do you manage? Massive awareness to consumers. The consumers must be made aware. Setting up of more collection centers and collection points. Manufacturers' responsibility to provide good standard material. The material with which the good is made, that should be of a good quality, should not be cheap. Provide good standard materials and assurance for recycling. Fair trade principles. More recycling units by providing subsidized financial support. Proper training to workers dealing recycling units. Ban on importing e-waste from other countries. Proper monitoring and evaluation system by the regulators at every level. Green and energy efficient devices by the manufacturers. Sell or dump of e-waste only to government authorized recyclers. Everybody is not permitted to do these. Recovery of valuable metals like copper, aluminium, gold, that is aurum, and argentum, Ag, silver, through recycling. Use of available best strategies and donate used electronics to charitable organizations. So these are the best way to manage e-waste. Fine. And what are the methods of waste disposal? Landfills, incineration, source reduction, composting, and recycling. Fine. These you must know. Each term you should know. These can come for your exams also. What is landfilling? Most municipal solid waste in India is deposited in landfills. Okay. It is the most traditional method of waste disposal. They are made to fill lands. Source of groundwater pollution. Very important source of groundwater pollution. The pollutant leaches down to the groundwater and pollutes it. Waste is directly dumped into the disused quarries, mining voids, or borrow pits. It is generally used for domestic waste. Fine. Prior to 1940, incineration was common in North America and Western Europe. Many incinerators were eliminated because of foul odors and gritty smoke. Currently, about 15% of municipal solid waste is incinerated. We have just discussed incineration and pyrolysis, one in the presence of oxygen and one in the absence of oxygen. right? Please remember these terms. These are the pros and cons of incineration. Pros: reduce the volume by 90%, weight by 75%, heat from burning is converted to electricity. These are the uses. And what are the disadvantages? Create air pollution, concentrates toxins in ash, more costly than landfills. And you must remember, it is more costly as long as space is available, right? Next is composting. What is that? Harnessing natural decomposition to transform organic material into compost, correct? Materials such as plants, food scrap, and scraps and paper products can be decomposed into the organic matters, right? The organic matter that is produced from recycling can be agricultural uses, correct? Usually this method of recycling is done by putting the material in a container and let to stay until it decomposes, okay? Next, ocean dumping. Ocean dumping is the dumping or placing of materials in ocean, often to the continental shelf. Very, very, very important in this scenario. A wide range of materials is involved, including this is not garbage, this is garbage, construction and demolition debris, sewage sludge, waste chemicals, and nuclear waste. Sometimes hazardous and nuclear wastes are also disposed, but these are highly dangerous for aquatic life and human life also. I'm going a little fast over here because we need to finish off, and these parts were already discussed, I guess. Here are some advantages and disadvantages. Among the advantages, see, it is not that expensive, it is convenient, source of nutrients for fishes and marine mammals, vast amount of space is available, all types of wastes are disposed, fine. Disadvantages what? There are three main direct public health risks from ocean dumping: occupational accidents, injuries, and exposures. Then see, if there is a lot of ocean dumping, it can cause a lot of accidents in the ocean. Exposure of the public to hazardous or toxic materials washed up on the beach sand. The waves will bring it on the sand and human beings will be exposed to that, correct? Human consumption of marine organisms that have been contaminated by ocean disposal, fine. See, if we consume the contaminated ocean organisms, the contaminants will get biomagnified in our body. So that will affect us badly. Highly dangerous for aquatic life, which goes without saying, obviously. Next is recycling. It is basically processing or conversion of waste item into usable forms. The waste items are converted to usable forms. Recyclable materials include many kinds of glass, paper, metal, plastic, textiles, and electronics, right? But recycling is not a solution to managing every kind of waste material, right? For many items like plastic bags, plastic wrap, yogurt cups, margarine container, etc., recycling technologies are unavailable for, or they are unsafe. Next, you see what are the benefits of recycling. It saves money, raw materials, and land. It encourages individual responsibility. It reduces pressure on disposal systems. In Japan, this is very popular. Japan recycles about half of all household and commercial waste. So it lowers the demand for raw resources and it reduces energy consumption and air pollution, right? Recycling saves money, energy, raw material, and land space while also reducing pollution. Recycling encourages individual awareness and responsibility. In Japan, it is very successfully done. Fine. This picture, nothing to discuss actually. Just look at it. Role of plant, rhizofiltration, that is filtration caused by root, phytostabilization, phytodegradation, and phytoextraction. Just read through these, okay? And finally, these are the main issues of what we just studied. Absence of segregation of waste at source, lack of technical expertise and appropriate institutional arrangement, unwillingness to introduce proper collection, segregation, transportation, and treatment, disposal systems, indifferent attitude of citizens towards waste management due to lack of awareness, right? Lack of community participation towards waste management and hygiene conditions. Okay, so we end this unit here. Thank you so much for participating in the lecture, in the class. This entire lecture will be shared in the group for students who are not there. Ask them to go through this. And again, I'm telling you, every unit has got topics for project and assignment. Please do it accordingly, like you are doing it for biodiversity unit and ecosystem unit. You will have to do it for all the units. Please do the work and keep them ready for your exam evaluation purpose. Please do it, don't keep it pending, because all those things carries marks. All those things, all project and assignment that you do, they carry marks. So please do it carefully. All right. So thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Till then, bye-bye.
Bye, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.